Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate, or I go by AlwaysMoreSims here on YouTube, and today we're doing another speed build. So this house is called Maybe Monotone, and I call it Maybe Monotone because it is, for the most part, like all white, grays, and blacks, but then the wood, the orangish, copperish colored wood everywhere is like the only thing that really is colorful. And the flowers on the bushes out front and stuff like that. Otherwise, everything pretty much sticks to black, white, and gray. So I was like, well, it's kind of monotoned. It's maybe monotoned. So that's what we called it. It is a 3-bed, 2-bath house. There is a closet size nursery. It's itty bitty. There's laundry included, and then there's actually a fish pond out front. There's just something a little different. And yeah, I did end up using those custom content 3-tile garage doors on the front, and I can never for the life of me find them. So I'm hopefully they're either easy to replace or you have better luck finding them than I do. But other than that, I didn't use any other custom content that I know of. I try not to use custom content or store content in my builds just because I want them to be accessible, usable, all that stuff. So, yeah. I actually didn't think I'd remember to tell this story, but I remembered it. So... it was about 2.5, 3 weeks ago now, which doesn't feel right. Time has completely, I stopped, babysitting for a family at the beginning of August, and because they moved 5 or 6 hours away. It's a whole, that was a whole drama. He was having an affair and, knocked up the woman he was having the affair with. And, it's a whole thing. I'm not going to go into it, but it was, a whole bunch of drama, which I felt like I was living in a soap opera. And anyways, so she moved back up north, 5-6 hours north where she's originally from, by her mom. All of that. And that was August, I think it was August 1st. And ever since then, time has just kind of ceased to exist. I'm having a really hard time keeping track of time. So anyways, I was house sitting a few weeks ago for a friend of mine, and she lives out on a farm roughly 45 minutes away. Sorry, I'm also currently puppy sitting, and now that I'm talking, she's like, oh, it's time to play. So anyways, I was house sitting / animal sitting because this friend of mine has, at the time, when I first started, she had 18 chickens, 4 ducks, 2 ducklings, 4 outdoor cats, 2 indoor cats, and a dog, and then 4 horses, but they just stay out in the pasture. I just had to make sure they had water the whole time I was there. So you might have noticed that I said when I started had 18 chickens. So I was halfway through the week, because I started on a Saturday and I ended on a Saturday. So halfway through the week, I want to say it was a Wednesday or something, and I went down to the chicken coop to do the morning chores, and I get down there and I let the chickens out, and I'm throwing the coop out into their little outdoor pen area, and I go back inside and there's this chicken just laying on the ground in front of the water bowls, and I knew it the moment I saw this thing. This chicken is dead. That, or I'm going to go up and touch it, and it's going to spring to life and scare the crap out of me. And so I'm very carefully nudging it with my boot, but it is not moving at all. So like I'm getting a little more insistent. I keep like nudging it. This thing is not moving. Well, at one point, like I finally like kind of roll it over, and well, the other chickens had kind of gotten to it. If you don't know, chickens are monsters, okay, and will eat other chickens. Like they will attack and eat weak chickens. So like that's why there was a chicken that was kept up with the ducklings, because she had something funky with her foot, and if she was left down with the other ducks, she would have been attacked and more than likely unalived by the rest of the chickens. So anyways, this chicken had apparently passed during the night, and the other chickens in the coop, I guess, decided that they were going to like eat its eyes, and like had like cracked into its skull. It was disgusting. So I text my friend. I call her first, freaking out, and she doesn't pick up the phone. And so I leave her a voicemail, and then I text her just in case, like maybe it's one of those things, she's somewhere where she can't listen to the voicemail or whatever. I'm like, hey, one of the chickens died. And she like immediately calls me, and she's like, oh my gosh, which one was it? And so I explain, because all like the chickens are all different colors. I'm like, well, it's this like whitish gray one. And she's like, oh yeah, I had a feeling that one was going to die. And I was like, and you couldn't have given me some kind of heads up or a warning? Because like at one point, I like house sat for her last summer, but it was only for like 2 or 3 days. But at the time, she's like, hey, just so you know, I have a sick chicken. This chicken might die. If it does, just let me know and I'll kind of walk you through it. Well, thankfully, the chicken never died. I got through those 2 days, no problem. This time, I was not so lucky, and I did not have a warning. So I'm like, I don't know what to do with this dead chicken. And she's like, okay, either go back up to the house and get like an old towel, or get like a trash bag, pick it up, and go toss it in a ditch up the road. Or if it really grosses you out, just, you can't do that, just pick it up and put it in my freezer and I'll take care of it. So I was like, okay, I'll put it in a towel, because then I can't like feel, because I had already tried before I was like able to get a hold of her. I already tried to pick the chicken up with a trash bag, and I could not handle feeling I could feel its leg. I knew I was touching the leg. I could feel like the bones in its leg. I'm like, I can't do this. So I was like, I'll go get a towel. I'll pick it up by the body so I can't really feel anything. And so then she lives right before the start of a hill. So I drove up the hill, just over the crest of the hill, stopped the car. I'd been driving my mom's car. And so I'd put it in the back, not in the back seat, but she drives a Grand Cherokee. So I had it in like the back, like by the hatch. So I'd put it in the back. I drove up over the crest of the hill, just over the other side, and then I chucked it. So I'm like, I do not want to chuck this along the road where I could possibly risk seeing something, that didn't take it back to wherever it comes from. I didn't want to see it being eaten or like see its remains or whatever. So I'm like, I need to put it somewhere that I'm not going to drive past it. So I took care of the chicken. Didn't have any any issues the rest of the week, but every morning when I would, every time I went down to the chickens, I was like mentally chanting, please all be alive, please no dead chickens, please all be alive, please no dead chickens. And I was like, I will never have chickens. I've never really wanted chickens in the first place, but like this has really cemented the fact that I don't want chickens, because chickens are monsters. So yeah. Yeah. Then I guess I have like 5 minutes. So like I said, I stopped babysitting for this one family at the beginning of the month. And I have been with this family since their second child was like 6 weeks old, Might have been 8 weeks old. But I actually remember I had gone to meet with the mom on the first day of the school year in 2020 or 2020? I want to say 21. But, like, now that I say, like, that doesn't sound right, but, like, the little girl just turned 2, so it would have been 21. But I've been with her since she was, again, like, 6 or 8 weeks old. And I was there pretty much every morning, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, watched this little girl grow up. And then the mom got pregnant again and had their third baby girl back in April. And so then the 2-year-old started going to daycare with the oldest, because there's 3 total. There's 3 girls total. So the oldest just turned 4. She turned 4 like a week after the middle one turned 2. They're both in July, like a week apart. And then the youngest, again, was born in April. So the older 2 started going to the gym as soon as, like, and I was being left with baby, like the youngest one, when she was like 5 weeks old. I was left with her really early. And then the drama, like, it was at the beginning of June, because I had just had that surgery on my jaw, and it was my first day back. And his parents were there, and her mom was there, and she does not get along with his parents, and his parents don't get along with her mom. And so I was, like, very curious as to why all of them were there. I thought that was kind of odd, because, again, like, they don't really get along. There's, like, normally a reason why they're not all together. But I was like, I'm not gonna, it is what it is. And then it had been a Monday. And then the following Wednesday and Friday, she had texted me to say that she didn't need me. And so my first thought was, oh my gosh, there was, like, some huge family fight between, like, her mom and his parents, or maybe she got in a fight with somebody. I don't know. 'Cause she's, like, very strong-willed, very opinionated, and, like, I could see her butting heads and being like, I'm not taking any of this crap. Like, I'm sticking up for that's totally her, the mom. So then I come back the following week, and I get there, and she looks awful. Looks like crap. And so I follow her. Oh, bless you, Moose. I follow her into the house, and just kind of nonchalantly over her shoulder, she goes, yeah, he and I are getting a divorce. Doesn't explain further. Doesn't say anything else. And so I'm like, okay. Like, that totally blindsided me. I was not expecting that. But then I was like, okay, I'm trying to think, I'm like, okay, hopefully it's, best case scenario. Like, despite the fact that at the time they had a baby that was less than 2 months old, I'm like, maybe, they just are like, maybe they've been trying to make the relationship work and it's not. Or maybe they're just like, we can still co-parent, do this, but it's just like, maybe I don't love, like, they fell out of love with each other. I'm hoping for the kids' sake that everything, like, it's an amicable breakup for, like, good reasons. They're divorcing for, good reasons. They were not divorcing for good reasons. I found out, like, a week later. Again, he was having an affair. It was actually with his coworker's wife, got her pregnant, and everything just kind of blew up. So, yeah. So because of that, again, she ended up moving up north, because she was like, well, I have 3 kids. When she decided she was going to move, all of them were, like, 3 and under. So it was 3 under the age of 3. And she's like, I'm going to need help. So she was going to move back up north where her mom is from and stuff like that, to have some assistance. Which, okay, like, you do you. Whatever helps you best. So she was, like, over the last, like, month or so, she was getting stuff packed up and all of that. And I was just, like, trying not to think about it because I knew it was bringing me a lot of anxiety because I'm like, oh my god, what am I gonna do next? And then my last day was, again, I think it was the 1st, and the little girl that I started with, so like their second child, I was like, I'm pretty sure I can make it through without crying. I think I can do this. I think it'll be okay. I don't think I'm gonna cry. I'd been getting in like the baby snuggles all morning, and again, the middle child comes home, and they get home from daycare, and she comes in, and she's like really struggled to say my name, and so she's finally, like, over the last, those last couple weeks, she was finally able to say Kate. She kept calling me mommy because I look similar to her mom, and then she kept wanting to call me Kitty, because they have a cat, and so they would hear Kate, and I guess she'd hear like cat. I don't know. She was calling me Kitty, and then she was finally able to say Kate, and then she was wanting a hug, and then she wanted me to give her a kiss goodbye, which she's never asked for before. So like, I was heartbroken. I left. I went out to my car and I cried. I couldn't do it. It looks like we're in the screenshot, so all up in my feels. First killing chickens, then saying goodbye to kids. It is what it is. If you guys want to download the house, it's down in the description. Please don't steal it. Thank you for watching. Bye.